For the 17th year now, the North Carolina Bar Association and Foundation is asking lawyers from all over the state to volunteer for a free call-in event. It's called For All Statewide Service Day, and it's your chance to talk one-on-one with a lawyer to get the legal information that you need to know about your situation. We have two guests here today who are taking part in that event on Friday and have done that before. Afi Johnson-Paris with Fox Rothschild LLP, specializing in family law. Manisha Patel is a certified family financial mediator and state bar counselor. Today we're going to be talking about domestic law and the common misconceptions and the type of cases they experience most often. So both of you have done For All Statewide Service Day. Manisha, for folks who don't know what kind of happens in that day, can you explain like a little 101?
Yeah, absolutely. So what people can do is you can call in to a various location throughout the state. You will get routed, or rather there'll be an intake where they will figure out what practice area or area of law your legal question is, and then they will route that caller to an attorney who has volunteer attorney who has signed up for that practice area. So they have the skill, the experience, and the know-how to be able to help answer that legal question. So it's a constant from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call in where you can speak one-on-one with an attorney from a particular practice area that revolves around your actual legal question.
Okay, and Avi, this is one of those things where people don't need to feel like, oh, I can't tell them something. They can kind of lay out whatever the situation is, and you're going to give them the best information that you can.
Absolutely. We're there to listen and sort of issue spot and figure out what their problem is, and then give them some information so that they can move forward or figure out what they need to do next.
Okay, so we're going to be talking to them about their specific kind of law that they usually specialize in. But what we want to know from you at home is, what is your question? So the number that's at the bottom of your screen, that 336-379-5775, you can text in your question today and also get an answer. Even though For All Service Day is Friday, today we're going to be concentrating on this. And if you've got a domestic kind of question, this is what we're going to talk about. All right, so the first question is, how can I get a legal separation?
Well, a legal separation in North Carolina, all you need to do is live separate and apart without the intent to reconcile. So that means that you can't, share bedroom, share different bedrooms in the same house. You have to have a separate residence, not the same house. There's no special court filing or document required, but a lot of times it is wise and makes sense to document that separation in a written separation agreement.
Okay, and I think a lot of people would say, well, we're separated, we're not talking even, but we actually cannot live in the house for a specific amount of time for it to be right.
Right. You have to live separate and apart for a year in order to be eligible for a divorce in North Carolina. So that means two different households not living together.
Okay, and so Manisha, a follow-up, if we are legally separated for that 1 year, does that mean we're automatically divorced?
Unfortunately, that's not how the law works. So once people have met that year separation, I like to call it a year and a day. So once you hit that first day after the 1 full year, that's when one party can file a lawsuit for absolute divorce. And so in that absolute divorce lawsuit, they would say, when they were married, that somebody has lived in North Carolina for at least 6 months, that they did not resume that marital relationship. Like Afi mentioned, they didn't reconcile during this 1 year period. And then, they'll state whether they have had children, but they still have to file this lawsuit. Then they'll have to serve the other party. And at that point, it could be, anywhere from, I would say, roughly, from that date of service, 45 to 60 days, depending on how efficient they're able to serve the other party. But you still have to go through the court process. It's nothing automatic after that year.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So a lot of people get into this situation where the other spouse does not want to get a divorce, and they don't want to do that. So what happens, Afi, when people are in that situation?
Well, because we have no fault absolute divorce in North Carolina, the only person that can give you the divorce is our judges or our clerks. So it doesn't matter whether or not the other party doesn't want to divorce. The only thing you need is to have lived separate and apart for a year. Either you or your spouse live here 6 months before you file. And so your spouse doesn't have to consent to the divorce. All you have to do is make sure they're put on notice by serving them of the divorce action. And then the divorce pretty much goes through automatically if you've checked all those particular boxes that I mentioned.
Okay, now there are certain situations where one partner or the other just kind of like disappears. What happens if you don't even know where your spouse is living at the time, Anisha, but you want to file for divorce?
So in terms of finding that other spouse, if they've kind of disappeared, moved out, whatever it may have been, we have to, as Afi mentioned, serve them with that lawsuit, serve them with that notice of the lawsuit. And so most typically we look at their last known domiciles. Domicile, fancy word, where they live, where they go to bed at night. And so they would have to be served at that last known location. And ways to do it, it's one of those you see on TV shows. Someone hands them the papers, you've been served, or a sheriff can serve them, FedEx, different options like that. But if you've tried all those options, exhausted all of these of the last known location, service by publication becomes an option where you post a notice in a newspaper, and that has to run for 3 consecutive Wednesdays in North Carolina. That's what the law is here, and they get an extra 15 days. So instead of 30, they get 45 days from the first date of publication. And once you've gotten past that 45th day, then it's exactly what Afi said. You can apply with the judge or a clerk of court to get a divorce, an absolute divorce judgment entered.
What about if you don't know where they live, but you know where they work? Can you serve them at work?
Yes.
Okay.
You can serve them at work. The key is that they have to sign off that they've been served, whether they sign the document with a sheriff or a process server or a private investigator has served them with the papers. They can provide an affidavit to submit to the court of where they were served and that this person is in fact the person to be served.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So we are going to continue this conversation. We've got several other key questions that are very common in this line coming up after the break, but we're taking your questions as well. 336-379-5775.